Hey guys, this is Tim with Mountain Lake Garden Gaming, coming at you with a new episode today. We are talking through a PSA submission, actually. So we just did a $9 per card value bulk submission to SGC for some 2023 Series 1. That went really well. I got all those cards back, and I'm really excited about the results. So I decided to go back through and pick out 20 of my favorite cards that we've pulled so far, and get those submitted over to PSA. So we're going to go ahead here and take a look. Now I've got an Excel spreadsheet up that is looking at all 20 of the cards, and we are going to go ahead and review this spreadsheet. Oh, it looks like it changed size. So I think that will do what we want it to there. Alright, so we're going to take a look at these one by one. So, this first one, we pulled this out of an Optic, I can't even remember what we pulled it out of, to be honest, but I think we pulled it out of a value pack of Optic Basketball 21-22. It's a pink auto of Aaron Wiggins, sticker auto, that's still an autograph, and this one is out of 25. It's been really hard to comp because, according to PSA, the pinks were out of 20, and there's a pink fast break, which this is not, that goes out of 25, and it's got some other crazy stuff going on with it. So I don't think it's that either. So I submitted it as an autograph pink, and we'll let them tell me if that's right or if it's something else. But I'm really excited about this card to get it sent off. That's a really low serial number auto. Especially for basketball, that's really cool. So I'm excited about this one. So we'll go ahead and flip this down. Next card, we have a Jake Berger on-card auto. Super cool. It's so funny. I watch people, I think, like Run Good and some other people, and say Jake Berger is their spirit animal. He just looks like he's looking at the great burger in the sky there. Such a good name. So we're sending this one in to get graded. The values on it, raw, $5, but if you get a PSA 9 or a PSA 10, we're looking at between 15 and 50. So this one's pretty well centered. It's a little heavy on the left. Top down is good. No dinged up corners or anything. The black is a little nerve-wracking on the back, but I didn't see any reasons why I should be nervous about it. So pretty excited about that. Number 3, I'm sorry, is Ricardo Cabrera auto that we pulled out of a Bowman Chrome Mega Box Mojo pack. So yeah, you can see up here, it's the Bowman Chrome Mojo autograph. And this one is actually on card too. It's really hard to find some on-card autos in some of these. A lot of them are not hand signed, they're sticker signed. So I'm pretty excited about this one. It's a nice looking autograph, nice looking card. Right. Last auto here is a Luis Frias with the Diamondbacks. This is off of the 87 design. I know it's not super interesting or exciting, but this one has a $4 card as it is, and a 15 or a 45 if it PSA 9s or 10s. So it's looking really sharp. The centering is really good. It's a solid on-card auto again. So very excited about it. I think this one will do well. Alright, on to some of our bigger cards here. So we've got an Independence Day, Gavin Sheets here. This one's really cool. So there's actually no Gavin Sheets sales of Independence Day cards yet, according to PSA, and also to Trading Card Pro, I think, tracks sales. So there's not been any yet. Not necessarily the best player, but we are going to go ahead and take a look at it with PSA because it is kind of a popular parallel. So we're pretty excited to get this one graded. I think it'll look good in the PSA red and white. So that'll be really cool. Next up, we have a LeBron. This is just our silver hollow. This is an interesting card because the LeBron is a $4 card, $5 is an 8, 16 is a 9, and $105 for PSA 10. So this one's kind of risk it for the biscuit sort of thing here, which I think I'm willing to do. I was kind of fighting to find 20 cards. I was like at that 15 to 16 mark, so I threw in a couple that maybe I wouldn't have graded otherwise, but I needed to get up to the value 20 card submission. So a couple of these are gonna feel like, oh, why are you grading those? Well, that's why I'm just filling out the order. So this one is an Illusions Kyler Murray. I thought it was a red at first, but the red's actually to 175, and this is to 125. So I think this is the Ruby. I think this is the Blaster exclusive Ruby out of 125. I made the mistake of submitting the order before I confirmed that, so it shows up as a red. Hoping that PSA will fix that for me. But there's actually no sales of this card either, so there's no Ruby Kyler Murray out of 125 sales. So that's another really good one to get into PSA. Hopefully we'll be able to get a really low pop on that. Next up, we've got 2022 Topps Update. This is a Mother's Day pink of Michael Pineda, Detroit Tigers. We're out of 50 here, so it's relatively short printed. It's a pretty good looking card. The centering on the right is just a little heavy. So we'll just have to see how it does. But the corners are really clean. No white flakes. Excuse me. No white flakes on the edges. So I'm thinking it's going to do really well. Next up, we got a Brian Reynolds. A little bit of foreshadowing here. We got a Brian Reynolds 2022 Stadium Club. This is the members only. It's a case hit, and if I remember correctly, there's only very few number of these. I mean, it's very short printed. Back a couple years ago, they said it was out of 10 possibly that were printed on these. I don't know if that's the same still, but that is, a very short print. So super short print even. So we got the members only there. This one is not super valuable. It says that there's one sale of a members only that was 99 cents, and I am kind of guessing that was somebody didn't know what they had and just put it up for auction and it was bought. So that's a case hit, and we're gonna give that the treatment it deserves there with a PSA grade. So we got next up is a 22 update Rogers Hornsby. This is a short print, number 60. This guy's just a stud, huge slugger, and hit for average too in his prime. So, amazing player, definitely a Hall of Famer, great short print to find. This one is another one of those cards that's kind of for the biscuit. It's a $2.85 average, ungraded, and you jump up to $15 for a 9 and then $45 for a 10. This probably won't 10, this might 9 just because of the edge, but if they're forgiving on that, maybe we'll get lucky and we'll have a 10. That'd be pretty great. So we're kind of shooting for that there. Getting into a couple more valuable cards here, we've got an Aaron Judge short print. This is from Series 1 of 22. This is the Cornfield short print. And we've got, I think it's just the single short print. It's not the super short print. I think that he's actually in the stands like with the announcers or something like that. But this is the regular short print. As a base card, this is $86 average, and we get up to 67 on PSA 8. So if it comes back as an 8, it's actually worse than not graded. So that's a little risky, but a 9 jumps up to 112, and a 10 jumps up to 240. So I mean, it's definitely a valuable card to get in the 10. Next up, Seiya Suzuki. This is out of Topps Update. This is a home field advantage. This raw card is going for 30, and it jumps up to 48 and a 9, which basically covers the cost of grading it, and then 157 as a PSA 10. Now with these home field advantages, they're a little bit hard to get perfect, just because the edges are, got the rainbow foil all the way to the outside, and the corners kind of show if there's any dings whatsoever because of that rainbow foil. So if you've got soft corners, you may not do well with this. I'm feeling pretty confident about this one that it's at least a 9, so it's at least going to cover the grading cost. And if it pops a 10, I mean, that's $100 more than a 9, which is pretty great. Here's another cool card. This was a surprise, actually. I got a box that had 3 or 4 of these triumvirates out of Stadium Club. And on first pass, I didn't see that this is actually a black parallel of the triumvirates. So you flip this over, it's actually out of 99. So we got a Ken Griffey Jr. triumvirates out of 99, black. Super nice looking card. So this one, there are no graded versions of this. I'm guessing it's something to do with it being die cut, and I would say the somewhat unfounded myth that all die cuts are bad to grade, because this one looks pretty clean, and there's no sharp edges besides the four corners. There's no sharp edges on the inside, so I'm not too worried about it. As far as that's concerned, it looks pretty clean. $20 for the raw card, and you know, in the PSA, if it's pop 1 of a 9 or a 10, I mean, we're going to have a pretty valuable card here. A lot of Griffey collectors, I know they keep printing more Griffies, but if there's one that's really rare, it does kind of spike the value up, especially with the photography of Stadium Club. Fantastic as is. This is actually a really cool card. So here's the foreshadowing I was talking about. This is actually a Bobby Witt members only, Bobby Witt Jr. And there are no sales of this card at all. This is a case hit, one of the top rookies. I declared value at 150. There's other listings of this for a lot more on eBay for the base card. There's a couple listings of it, not a ton. But if you use J-Rod for comparison, the raw card was 120, 8 was 111, 9 was 191, and the 10 was 530. Even if you take half of that off, being Bobby Witt instead of J-Rod, we're still looking at about a $275 card. So that one, that's pretty cool. That's one of the best cards I've ever pulled. Really neat case hit of a great rookie. Alright, next up we have some more filler cards that I just kind of shoveled in. Honestly, this one's pretty cool, but we have a couple filler cards in the back here. So this is a Nick Lodolo. I don't know if you can really tell on the camera, but the shading is just a little bit different from the Frias that we showed before that was not numbered. As it turns out, this is actually a gold parallel, even though it looks super dark. It's considered a gold. This one's out of 75, which is the only reason I know it's gold. Otherwise, I would think that it's definitely something else. So we're 9 out of 75 here. We've got the Nick Lodolo gold on the 87 tops from Topps Update. This one, it does have some grades. It's got a $7.50 value ungraded, but you jump up to $25 roughly, and a 9, which covers the grade cost, and then you've got a 10 is almost up to $70. So I mean, this is definitely a valuable card and a good one to get in a slab there. Right, next up we have a Garrett Cole green out of 273 from Topps Heritage. So this is the green chrome. It's really rare. Hard to pull. It's like in the 1 in 300 blaster packs, something like that range to pull one. Out of 273, as I said here. So this is not super valuable raw. I think it's like $7 raw, but it jumps up to 21 and a 9, which is really not that much. Not that much value added. But you look at, if you get a PSA 10 on this, you're looking at $60, 65, 70. And the edges are super clean on this, no corner issues. And I actually did take a microfiber cloth to make sure the surface was nice and clean, free of fingerprints. And as you rotate it around, you can tell with the chrome refracting that it is just in great shape there. So I'm feeling really good with that. The black on the back is really clean as well. There's no folded up edges or corners. So a good chance of that jamming up there. Next up we have the Juan Soto short print from Update. This is a pretty commonly bought and sold card. This one is a $10 raw card, but it jumps all the way to 25 in a PS8, 30 in a 9, and then 60 in a PSA 10. So definitely worth the grade on this one. Even if it gets an 8, it's still profitable as you consider grading cost. So pretty great to find cards like that. Okay, we got 3 cards left. These these ones are kind of my fillers. So we've got T minus Luca. This is a not super valuable card. It's $3.50 basically in raw form. $5 PSA 8, $9 PSA 9, but it's 36 in a PSA 10. So it's a really nice, clean card, well centered, no surface issues. So I'm feeling pretty confident about it getting at least a 9. And if it gets a 10, it'll be great. Same things with the Jalen Suggs My House here, except it does have a little bit more value in the 8 and 9. So this is a $2 card in base. 8 is $6.50, 9 is $10.50, but the PSA 10 is $45 here. So that's actually a pretty decent return, considering the condition of the card and everything. We did go ahead and wipe this down with the microfiber also, just to make sure there's no smudges and fingerprints, fuzzballs, card snot, anything like that on there. So we wiped that up. And then the last card is actually a little bit of a treat here. So there's probably not a whole lot of you that watch racing, especially F1 racing. If you do, good on you. I don't watch it too much, but this is a rookie. It's the Formula One freshest here. It's Zhu Ganyu, and he is one of the better rookies in the set. And this is a red out of 5. We got 4 out of 5 here on the back. So we did some research on this, and the blacks out of 10 are actually selling between 200 and a max 500. So we're looking at the red being somewhere between 400 and 1,000. I think the superfractor sold for 1,500 or 1,800. I can't remember exactly, but it's pricing it at double the out of 10. But less than superfractor gets you that 400 to 1,000 range. So we did go ahead and mark this as a declared value of $4.99. It may be more, it may be less, I'm not really sure. And then we'll have to see what happens when we slab it. What they may upcharge me for the value. We'll just have to wait and see. If they do, that's a good indicator that it's worth as much as I thought, if not more. I know PSA isn't in the market for value in cards and telling you what they're worth, but if they upcharge you, that's a good sign that you didn't declare enough value, which is good. So I'd be happy to pay the upcharge on this one to get an idea if it's worth as much as I think it is. So there we are. That is the last card of our 20 card submission. A couple tips and tricks as you go. So first of all, go to your local Dollar General, get an eyeglass kit, and pull out the microfiber cloth from the glasses repair kit. This is fantastic for cards. It's not going to scratch them. Just go ahead and wrap it a little bit around the finger and drag it from the center out to the corners and the edges, and just allow that to wipe down the card to make sure there's no chunks of debris on it. And then just take it again, and if you want to just go along the edge just a little bit to make sure there's no fingerprints. That's how I do it. It seems like it cleaned them up pretty well. As always, you want to make sure you're careful not to snag any corners or anything. But the microfibers seem like they're pretty good as far as that's concerned. Tip number 2: when you are preparing for submission, get rid of your old penny sleeves, especially if you store your cards in a place where they may get dust or debris on them. It's always good to take the cards out of the old penny sleeves, go ahead and give them the old cleaning treatment, and then drop them in a new one. You can always reuse these for different cards that maybe you're not so concerned about value-wise, but you want to make sure you use a clean sleeve there so that you don't have any debris that you're reintroducing onto the card when you put it back in the sleeve. Third tip: make sure you get your invoice and you put your cards specifically in the order that they show up on the invoice, because PSA will actually charge you 5% additional on your order if your cards aren't in order. So definitely make sure before you package these up that you got them running from 1 to 20 or 1 to whatever, however many you're submitting. Make sure you do that so that they don't ding you and charge you more handling fees just because they weren't perfectly in order. Yeah, so that's really my 3 big tips, and I'm excited to get these submitted off to PSA. I know it's going to be quite a while before I get them back. If we're talking 65 business days or something ridiculous like that, we won't see them for 3 months. So we'll just have to wait and see. We'll wait and see what that what that submission does, and we'll update you guys here when we know more. So again, thank you for tuning in. Thanks for staying engaged on a little bit of a longer video. I appreciate it, and we will see you in the next one.